Okay, since we have our bare install of Debian Linux running, we want to go ahead and set it up to where we can make our lives easier. So with our virtual machine selected, let's go ahead and log in as our normal user, type the password, and immediately the first command we want to type is su, or super user slash substitute user. I personally believe it's substitute user, but whatever. So we'll hit enter, and then we'll type in the password for our root user. Okay, so once we're in root, let's go ahead and change to our home directory for root and clear this out. And the very first thing we want to run is apt upgrade, or update, sorry. We have no packages to install, but if we did, we would simply type apt upgrade, and that would install anything that got put into the apt package manager's sources list file, right? Since we have none, nothing will happen. So, as we know, being logged in root is never really a good thing for any extended period of time. So the first thing we want to install is sudo, whatever. So apt install sudo, enter. This will pull in sudo and install it for us. The next thing we need to do is set up our standard or normal user, and how we do this is we run sudo vi sudo. And don't worry, this isn't going to run vi, this will run nano on Debian Linux. So then we go ahead and use the arrow key to move down to here where it says root. Okay, and if we look at that, root is our only user other than our normal user. So we will just duplicate this, but for our only other user, which is, for me, is William. So we will type all equals brackets all colon all arrow key space capital all. And if you're not familiar with nano, I suggest that you learn it, but I will walk through the commands here really quick. Control X, Y for yes, and then enter to save. If you need to verify, we can run sudo vi sudo again, and we can see that our settings took. All right. So once that is done, let's go ahead and exit out of our root user. And now we can issue the commands that we needed for the future from our normal user here. So the very next thing we want to run, or we want to install, is open SSH server. So as our normal user, we can't just apt install. We have to run sudo first. All right, now that we set up our sudoers file. So sudo apt install open, slow down, Bill, SSH-server, and then hit enter. It'll prompt us for our normal user password, for William in my case. Invalid, oh, yeah, it might actually help if I type the command correctly. 2 L's, not 1. So 1 more L, enter. All right, and it's asking us, do we want to continue? It's going to pull down about 4 gigs of files from the internet, and when installed, it's going to use 17.8 megabytes. Yes, that's tiny. All right. And now we have an open SSH server running. So very quick, we want to do this as quick as possible. We want to run sudo etc ssh underscore config, and oops, yeah, we want to run nano. I'm getting in too big of a hurry here because for security purposes, our root user is wide open to SSH from the internet since we're facing the internet. So sudo nano and then the config file. At the very bottom, we want to come down 4 spaces and type capital P permit, capital R root, capital L, login, space, no. Double check to make sure that it's spelled correctly and that we have the capital letters in the right place. And then go ahead and save and exit. So to make sure, really quick, it looks correct. Okay, so now we need to restart our SSH server, and how we do that is sudo systemctl, system control, restart ssh.service, and pow. Now, if we have a SSH client working, such as PuTTY, like I do have here, we'll go ahead and fire it up. Set this over here. And then we need to find out our IP address, so we will type sudo IPA, and right up here where it says inet, we can see that our address is 192.168.1.125. Okay, so we go ahead and type that into PuTTY here, and with our default port at 22, so 192.168.1.125. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and save this session as DS9. Save, and then open. Okay, when we first open up an SSH client to our server, of course, we're going to get a security alert. But since, I'm the one doing the connecting here, and I should know what's going on, I'm just going to click yes. And to test to make sure that our root user is no longer exposed to SSH from anywhere, we will try to log in as our root user. Type in the password for root, and it should deny us right off the bat. Type one more time to make sure we got the password right. Pow, done. So access is denied via SSH to the root account. We're going to need to close that out. Go ahead and start PuTTY. Load. Open again. We're going to log in as William this time, our normal user, followed by the normal user password. And there we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and exit out of our virtual machine here. And we can just go ahead and minimize that. I think for now that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, I want to cover using RSA keys to make our SSH connection more secure and easier to use. So until the next video, have a good day.